Welcome back to Timely, the podcast where three friends talk about random fun topics from the past, the present, and the future.
I am Danny Gula, and for the past segment, we're going to be talking about some famous fictional characters from history and what their either, first names were, their original names, or what you might call their full names for some of them.
Full names of past fictional characters.
Of all kinds of fictional characters.
Cool.
Okay. I'm Jon Stamm, and for the present segment, we're going to be talking about a really wild surgery that just happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm producer Jeff, and for the future segment, guys, we're going to be talking about the solution to plastic killing the Earth.
Oh, that's a good solution.
I love this.
And it's not what you would expect.
It's not Mr. Beast and Team C's.
No, but it's pretty cool.
That helped.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'm imagining you have a much better thing than
Yes.
I mean, that was...
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, are you ready to venture into the past to take a look at some of the characters we grew up with? Well, maybe some of us did. I mean, the first one we're talking about is Barbie, and I don't think any of us had a lot of personal experience with Barbie, but I did with my sister. Yeah, we would play a lot together.
My daughter, we're watching Barbie in the Dream House on Netflix right now, and she told me Barbie's last name.
Oh! Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hang on. We're going to talk about that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so Jeff's going to know this one, so we're just going to have to figure out if John knows this one. So I'm going to tell you guys a few names, and you're going to have to guess either if it's, in this situation, Barbie, what her last name is, or I might say the full name of a character, and you're going to have to guess which character that is.
Yeah, I'll sit this one out. You got it.
Okay, yeah. All right, so number one on the list is Barbie.
Okay.
I am probably the least versed in girls' toys. I grew up with one brother, and I have all boys currently. So I have never played with a girl's toy in my life.
I will tell you, the TV show Jeff's talking about is hilarious.
It's pretty
and
fun.
your boys would love it. I'm sure they would.
It's all about Barbie having a vlog.
I have
so
seen
every episode is her talking through a vlog.
And
That's cool.
They talk about all the jobs she's had and her how old she is. Her birthday comes up. It's hysterical.
I have seen clips of that. It's a clever setup for a show. But I'm going to say her name is Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the original last name from when they created her, or is this a retcon thing?
Yeah, this is that turns out to be the Barbie's full name because it was named after her daughter. All right, I'll give you guys just A or B. Is her last name Roberts or Williams?
Got it. Yeah, I remember now.
Okay.
Barbara Roberts.
That's correct.
That's correct. It's Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Millicent?
Yeah.
What is that?
I have no idea.
That's an old name.
It's an old-timey name. I mean, she was created in 1959, and she named her after her daughter, Barbara. But yeah, Barbie's just a nickname. On the Barbie train, let's talk about her boy, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what Ken's full name is?
I don't.
Kenneth.
Kenneth, good. You're there. His full name is Kenneth.
Okay, got that part. It's the hard part. That's all I got.
Kenneth Sean Carson is his name.
Kenneth Carson. Now,
Kenneth
do you know if that's based off a real person, just like Barbie was, or?
Yeah, the creator actually named Ken after their own son as well.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right, we're going to go with this name. Tell me which character this is. This is Horatio Magellan Crunch.
Oh.
It should
Captain
be easy.
Crunch.
There we go.
Yeah, you got Magellan
Captain
in
Crunch,
there.
Magellan. It's amazing,
Do
right?
people know who Captain Crunch, the character is now? Because I know they know what the cereal is, but they haven't really shown Captain Crunch, the character, in commercials recently.
He's
I
on
don't
the
think.
box still, though, right?
He is still on the box. That's true.
And technically, it's Captain.
It's Captain. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch. Okay.
I'm surprised his name is Horatio, though, because I always imagine him as a British sea captain, like British admiral or whatever.
Maybe they were trying to be, they didn't know who was going to take over the seas at the time because, sometimes it was the Spanish and sometimes
Maybe.
it was the English.
I mean, Magellan, was he Spanish or
I
Italian?
think he's Italian.
Yeah.
So maybe they were covering Spanish, Italian, and British.
There you go.
Crunch, that's the British now.
Right.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about this guy, Norville Rogers.
Norville Rogers. So I'm currently watching Lost in Space.
Okay.
That's Robinson. So
That's Robinson, yeah.
Okay.
Norville Rogers.
Norville Rogers.
Oh, is it Mr. Rogers?
Nope.
That would be Fred.
No, because his name is Fred Rogers.
That's right.
That's not a fictional character. That is
That's
a
a
man
real
who
guy.
just liked to play with toys. Not
And
puppies.
puppies.
Probably
I
puppies.
like playing
I guarantee there's a clip of him playing with puppies somewhere. He had a friend who was a dog.
Oh, is it Shaggy?
It is Shaggy.
Okay.
Shaggy, yeah.
Okay.
Ted Shackelford. Now, keep in mind, his companion that got into a lot of trouble probably should have been shackled.
Is it the man in the yellow hat from Curious George?
It is the man in the yellow hat.
Yeah.
Holy moly, you're on a roll, Jack.
Come on. Mischievous little monkey.
I'm gonna have to give you hints right out of the gate because these are so weird. Some of these names, you're never gonna get.
I don't need hints, obviously.
Jeff knows. He's on your level. He's on your wavelength.
Now, I want to give you this name before I give you the last name, because the last name will give it away completely. So I'm just going to give you the full name because he's got a mouthful here. Bartholomew Richard Fitzgerald Smythe, and then there's a last name, which is usually a mouthful as well.
The last name would give it away. That's why you're not telling
The
us.
last name would 100% give it away.
Okay? Give me the name one more time.
Bartholomew Richard Fitzgerald Smythe, blank.
Is this TV show or cartoon? Comic book?
Commercial.
Commercial.
It's a commercial character.
One of the California Raisins?
It's you're close. It's a product mascot.
Ronald McDonald?
What about the 7-Up guy?
The 7-Up guy.
The little red spot in
that has a
1989?
name.
Yeah.
That has a name. I forget what it is.
For those of you who aren't 35.
Spot. I think it's the Spot.
The Spot? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe his name was Bartholomew or whatever. I don't know.
The Noid. Remember the Noid
Yeah,
from
the Noid
Domino's?
from Domino's, yeah.
This was Mr. Peanut, whose full name is Bartholomew Richard Fitzgerald Smythe Peanut, which is why he's so fancy with that monocle.
Monocle, yeah. That
There you go.
makes sense.
Speaking of monocle, the Monopoly guy does not have a monocle.
He doesn't.
It's just one of those common
Mandela's,
Mandela effect.
which is on a previous episode of the podcast, which you should check
Doesn't
out.
have him. Does he have glasses?
No.
He's just a squinty-eyed dude.
He's just got the
His
mustache.
little beady eyes.
Top hat.
Top hat.
Yep.
Does he have a cane?
I think he has
I think
he has a tuxedo.
he has a
That's-
cane.
yeah, something like
I don't know. He's
There-
a real estate mogul.
There's a really cool version of the game that we just got, which is supposed to be really like female friendly. It's his young millennial niece who is teaching you. If I remember, it's like how to be an influencer kind of thing. So you're like buying up brands she's like starting a business. I think is what she is. She's like an entrepreneurial boss girl.
So is she like doing ad reads for Skillshare and
Probably,
stuff?
yeah. The same game, but just like different themes. You
That's
know.
hilarious.
All right. So Officer Edgar Mallory.
Officer.
He sent a lot of people straight to jail.
Straight to jail, huh?
I mean, is that the Monopoly guy?
That would be the Monopoly guy's policeman. So the little character that's on the jail thing has a name. Why? I don't know.
For real?
For real, 100%.
Can I be honest? Monopoly is super boring and I don't enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good board games out there. Monopoly's not one of them.
It takes too long, and it's not satisfying.
No, and like kids, who care? Kids don't care about real estate. Like,
Yeah.
give me some Settlers of Catan or Ticket to Ride.
There you
For
go.
sure.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Pennybags is actually the Monopoly guy's name.
That's
and
That makes sense.
his full name is Milburn Pennybags. I just wanted to get off this Monopoly kick.
Perfect name.
You know what's really sad about myself? Whenever you said Officer Edgar, whatever you said,
Yeah.
I was almost like, is that G.I. Joe? No, his name's Joe.
His name's Joe. His name's Joseph, Private Staff Sergeant
Joe
Josephson.
Yeah.
We got Edward Bear. There's a lot of famous bears out there. So
Edward
Bear.
Edward Bear.
Oh, it's gonna be like a Disney character, like a bear, like
Not Baloo.
Good.
not Baloo.
Good thought.
He's
Good thought.
He's got a name.
Not the Berenstain Bears.
Could be the Berenstain Bears. There's
Although their last name's Berenstain.
Yeah, and that's Papa. I think it's like Papa Berenstain or something.
Yeah, it's not Winnie the Pooh. What are some of our famous
Berenstain.
bears?
there are
Berenstain.
there's the three little
Berenstain.
bears.
Edward Bear.
Edward Bear. He's a British bear. He's been in books and movies.
A British bear?
I know. Is it?
You're right there. Otherwise, I would give it to you right now.
It's like a fairly recent movie.
Mm,
Didn't they make like a
They,
version?
they made a recent version, yeah.
Like Barrington, Chuggington. What is his
Oh.
name? It's like
Oh yeah.
Tarpington.
Paddington Bears are thinking of.
Paddington. I knew it was a
Yeah,
British.
no.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely wrong. It's Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, for real? I did say Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear that.
His name's not Winnie the
No,
Pooh?
no. It's Edward Bear, named after the author's childhood stuffed animal.
Why do they call him Winnie the Pooh?
I have no idea.
What's the Pooh?
Like, yeah, seriously, my kids laugh. Every kid laughs the first time they hear Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie
They're
the
like,
Pooh, yeah.
It's like, no, seriously, that's his name. But it's not. That's weird.
Not at all.
We've
Not
been
at all.
lied to.
Not at all.
Okay.
Really famous alien whose real name is Gordon Shumway. We should all be familiar with this alien as
Hold
well.
on.
Gordon Shumway.
Okay, an alien named Gordon.
Gordon.
Okay. That's not a really cool name.
It's very
Gordon.
cheesy.
No,
It's got to be
very
like
cheesy.
maybe Star Wars, but
A famous alien.
Spock.
No.
No. It's particularly from our era of childhood. Maybe a little
Alf?
earlier. There you go, Alf. Yeah. Alf just means alien life form.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's right.
Gordon?
Gordon.
That kind
Gordon,
of makes
yeah.
sense based on his person. He's like,
Sure.
I'm going to eat some cats.
Hey.
I'm Gordon.
Yeah.
This one blew my mind. I'll give you two more here. Poppin' Fresh.
That's a name?
That's a name. The name is Poppin' Fresh. Poppin's a name. It's like an old-timey British name, I feel like.
Oh,
Like Mary?
Poppin'.
Like Mary Pop. That's Poppins.
That's true. So like a first name is Poppin.
The first name is Poppin. Poppin' Fresh.
Poppin Fresh. Does he have a brother named Locken? Is
He
Poppin
does
and Locken?
not, but he is an advertising character. An old advertising character.
What about Pringles?
That's a good one, but no.
What about the Pillsbury Doughboy?
There it is.
Why do I keep getting
The
these right?
Pillsbury
How are you
Doughboy.
so good at this?
This is remarkable, Jeff.
I have no idea.
This is nuts. The whole name was supposed to be given to the company's fresh quality, and then
I feel just like kind of weird. Like when people get their Wordle guess on the first guess, people are like, "You're a genius." It's like you're not a genius. You just made a good guess.
You just made a good guess.
But I'm over here thinking like it's probably Tony the Tiger. No, his name's Tony, and you're over here like getting it right.
Yeah,
The Pillsbury Doughboy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why poppin'. Like what? Dough.
I don't know when you pop it open.
Pop it in
Maybe.
the oven.
Although
Maybe.
Pringles, I think, was a better guess.
Pringles was an excellent guess because that's what keeps those fresh. All right, last one we got here is Cavity Sam.
Cavity Sam.
Cavity Sam. I'm not getting any clues on this one because the name is a little bit of a tricky thing, but also a dead giveaway.
Okay, Cavity Sam. I'm wondering, is it like a villain? Or you're just like looking at me now.
Yeah, like whatever you say, it's
how
gonna
I
be
break
right.
down.
So
Is it like a villain from a cereal commercial by any chance?
It is not. It is a character from a game.
Cavity Sam.
Cavity Sam.
Jeopardy?
No, that's not. I mean, that's a board. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's
it's Alex
that's
Trebek's
Alex Trebek's real name.
Cavity Sam.
It's like, listen, that's not a smart enough name, Alex.
Listen, kid, if you're gonna host a show, you got to change your name from Cavity Sam.
It's a smart game. You can't be Cavity Sam.
Who is Alex Trebek?
Trebek, yeah, that sounds French. The French are smart.
You're hired. Okay. Is it like a Oregon Trail type of game?
Nope, it is a boardish game. Board is a little bit of a stretch. It's more of a box that you take things out of. You take things out of cavities in the box.
Oh, it's the guy laying on the table in operation.
It's the operation guy.
Yeah.
Cavity Sam is his name.
Makes sense.
Another good guess.
Hey, pulling things out of his cavities in
Yeah.
his body. Like
Yeah.
that makes that really kind of dark. Like that game in general.
It is. I mean, you're trying to help the guy, but every time I was scared to play that game because whenever it would buzz, it's scary.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. My kids are frightened of that. Yeah, they're kind of over it now, but you got to be a certain age to not be
Yeah,
terrified.
when it buzzed, I was like, I killed him. Like, it's very anxiety-inducing.
It's also just lightheartedly playing with death in the operating room because isn't that what it's supposed to be if you fail? Like you killed him?
Oh, I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Do the instructions say that?
I don't know. Probably the old-timey instructions are like, listen, kid, don't kill the guy.
Speaking of surgeries, let's take this to the present. All right, guys. I want to talk about the most complicated surgery. According to surgeons, this is one of the most tricky, difficult, often messed up, complicated surgeries to perform. Is connecting two intestines together, like two pieces of intestines together.
Really? I feel like don't they do that a lot?
I mean, I would have to think if the intestines are always working, like how do you?
I guess it's very delicate, like soft tissue,
Sure.
easy to rip. So that surgery was just performed 4 times consecutively by a surgeon. It's like a record. He set this record of doing this surgery very, very well 4 times consecutively, which is great.
Yeah.
I should also mention that surgeon was a robot. So
hang on, did it make the decisions?
Yeah.
Why aren't you acting more surprised?
Yeah, that was an autonomous.
I didn't think we were there yet.
Autonomous robot just performed a surgery, a very, very complicated surgery without the help of humans.
No help. Just pre-programmed, hey, go in there, look at this human, slice and dice them up and connect these intestines.
Yeah, he wasn't removing a mole. That's one of the hard surgeries.
Oh, thank God.
It's laparoscopic, so that means the camera goes in there with the little slicer.
Here, I'll show you.
Scalpel?
You want
Scalpel?
to see my tummy?
Nope, I don't.
No.
I got scars from that one.
They don't have
so
to
do I.
cut you open and look at it all. They can send in the camera and the scalpel.
Yeah.
And kind of do the surgery. Very minuscule, tiny little details.
They actually blow you up like a balloon.
They
They
put gas
do.
in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also should say that this is not on a person. This was on a pig.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that helps.
Okay, good.
That's not quite.
We're
as
not
scary.
yet teaching robots how to slice us up and turn us into little murder
Oh,
machines.
well, I mean, we're teaching them, but they just haven't done it yet. Wow. I think this proves that it could do it.
Right.
So while I'm really afraid of robots taking over and killing us all, I'm grateful that we might stop surgeons from killing us. That's kind of cool.
Why? Expound on that.
Human error, man. It's such a common. They always say you died from complications in surgery. That just means it was hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't you think there can be robot error?
Well, I'm sure there will be, but it'll be way more minuscule compared to a human because a human gets tired.
You think so?
Shakes.
Really?
Has to make decisions without precision.
See, I feel like you've got in mind this ideal idea of a robot that's from Star Trek, where everything is. But think about our technology right now. Like almost everything has bugs. Like, oh, I got to restart this. I got, this isn't working right. I've lost connection with that. So I could see there being a lot of robot error in the first long period of time that we start using stuff like that.
I could see that eventually, but man, if this thing could make it through 4 pigs in a row,
we got something going on there.
There's no
4
stopping
pigs?
it. Yeah. So the Star robot performed this procedure in 4 pigs, and it produced significantly better results than humans performing the same procedure. Ooh. So, I mean, again, this is just one, like the first kind of, breakthrough. Yeah. So, they haven't done long-term studies and testing and making sure, like you said, that this is going to work consistently. Bottom line is we were able to make a robot that did better than a doctor. So, I mean, it's kind of like whenever they designed the robot that beat the human in chess. It's kind of like, oh, okay, this is another level.
Now, here's where you start seeing the people start fighting against robot workers. Like some people really didn't care when it was McDonald's workers, but when you start getting rid of them expensive surgeon jobs,
true,
that's going to be a whole other thing.
All right, so we got to ask a question: Would you let a robot cut you open and do a surgery on you?
100%. Have you met surgeons?
What?
Have you met surgeons? They're all the guys we went to high school with that were like jock bros who are like super excited and want to outperform everybody. Now, granted, they do it.
They do. That actually makes them good surgeons.
But those same guys also used to throw back like 6'4" locos a night in college while they were learning all this stuff.
But you don't hear a lot of that happening in the OR.
No, but that's when they were supposed to be learning about how to do this.
Let me explain why I'm surprised about you being like, yep, I'm going to do it. Sign me up. Because you're the one that's afraid of a robot takeover. You're the one that's afraid of the singularity, and you're inevitable. Like, put me on the list to be cut open by a robot.
Well, we're not stopping it.
That's weird, man. I feel like you would want to fight it. Fight it, bro.
Oh, I will fight it. But it doesn't mean you're stopping it.
All right.
I'm not totally sure where you. Yeah, I would probably do it once it's been kind of fleshed out a little bit more. Yeah, once they've tested it on several more pigs than 4.
Right. Yeah. Once they've fleshed it out, meaning once a robot are more like androids and they have flesh. Is that what you mean by that?
I want my robot surgeon to look like a doctor. No, I'm just kidding. No,
like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I want them to show decisively through many scientific studies that the Star robot can do better surgery than a human. And if they can do that,
I would do it. I just think that there are so many things that we already kind of resign ourselves over to, like, I don't understand it. It's an advancement in technology. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Like even laparoscopic surgery, for example, like that is a newer type of surgery.
Yeah.
And when they first started doing that, I had my appendix out and they did it laparoscopically. And before they'd have to do the whole cut you open thing. But I didn't think twice about it. I didn't think about, well, how many people have they tested this on? And do we know that it's going to be as effective? Can they mess up? I was like, I don't care. Just get it out.
Yeah, the doctors said this is what we recommend, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and about 8 years or maybe even 9 years ago, I don't remember how long ago it was, when I lived up in Chicago, I remember seeing this demonstration, and it was basically like a pod that you sat in that had all the surgery robot arms in it with the tools and stuff. And the idea is that a surgeon doesn't have to go to you. Like, so say you want to hire the best surgeon to do your work, he can just hang out at his office in Laguna Beach, soaking up the sun, while he's just working out on his little MacBook Pro and, doing the surgery remotely.
I've heard that that's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
They're doing remote surgeries.
So, I mean, the tools, the mechanics are there. They just have to figure out the programming and, the cameras to be able to scan the body and tell it what to do.
What were you saying? Like you go in a room and there's all the little things?
It was this was the demonstration I saw. It was like this weird little pod box thing.
Like the Jetsons when he gets up in the morning and all the things come in?
Or Boba Fett, the pod with the back-to-tank? It was like one of those pods, but it wasn't filled with water. It was filled with arms that gave you nightmares.
You don't want that to go wrong if all of a sudden it's just like
a suicide box.
You become a pincushion.
It's an inverted spider.
Yeah.
The arms and legs are inside. Oh,
what is happening? Where have we gone?
We got dark.
If there's
guys, this is the first time we've really gotten dark in the present.
Yeah. I don't want to violate HIPAA laws here, but have you guys had surgery before?
Yeah.
I had an ingrown toenail. They removed a piece of that off.
Did they put you out?
So, no, it was local anesthetic.
Yeah, I don't think that counts.
No, it doesn't count.
I've been put under twice.
I had my wisdom teeth taken out.
Yeah, mine was one of those because mine were impacted, so they had to knock me out.
Yeah,
I did not handle that.
That's a different kind of knockout than full-on surgery.
When I had my appendix out about 10 years ago, I remember waking up in recovery and being super out of it, and the recovery nurse was like, "You're not going to remember this," and I'm like, "No, I am going to remember this. I'm gonna." And then I fell asleep. Right, that's all I remember. I don't remember her name or anything. I just remember her saying, "You're not going to remember this,"
and you're like, "I'm gonna do it."
I take that back. There's one thing she did say that I do remember. she said, wow, they said that you were a fighter. And then I went out and I'm like, I woke up. I'm like, what did she mean by that?
Probably that you were awake.
I guess so. But then when I went to my post-op consultation, 3 weeks later, I talked to the doctor. I'm like, why did my recovery nurse say that I was a fighter? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, I want to know. What did I do? Did I punch out a nurse's assistant or something? Like,
what if you flatlined mid-surgery and do they have to tell you if that happens?
Yeah, I think they do. If
Really?
I coded on the OR table,
Put the restraints on him. I like the idea of you fighting somebody.
Yeah. I'm like kicking people with my arms restrained. Like, don't cut me.
No.
No, I thought you were going to say the one
I
thing.
love my appendix. It's part of me.
The one thing I remember her saying was, "Get out the robot arms."
I mean, I'm generally an agreeable guy, so I hope that I didn't turn into a complete jerk that was cursing at people and I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I woke up crying from my first surgery because I was so happy that the pain was over, and then the doctors had to be like, "Who's gonna tell him it didn't work?"
And then you cried,
And I had to
for
do it
different
again.
reasons.
I was like, "No."
Yeah.
See, I bet you would have. I mean, you know what? I just figured it out. I know why he wants to have a robot surgeon.
I've never had a good surgery.
He's had a lot of bad surgeries.
I've had a lot of bad
That's a
surgeries.
good He's had a
lot of
Every
botched.
single time, it's been bad.
That's a good point.
I've
That's
had
true.
complications for every surgery, and there's been 4 of them.
Yeah. All right. So if we're gonna look forward to robots driving our cars one day and delivering our Amazon packages, I mean, may as well cut us open,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. What's one more thing?
Let's think of a better future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
there. All right, gentlemen, welcome to the future. Danny's future is dark.
We all live in the same future, so you're just lying to yourself.
I mean, your personal future could be dark.
It is.
But typically when you bring a future topic, it's dark. I'm going to bring a happy one.
Yay.
Okay.
The plastic in the middle of the ocean, which is presently a problem.
That's dark.
That's dark.
Yes.
How big is it now? It's huge.
It was Texas, I think, last time.
I think it was the size of Texas.
Yeah, so you probably know what we're talking about, but there's any plastic that somehow ends up in the ocean, the way currents work, they kind of collect in this area in the Pacific, and it's gigantic.
Yeah.
And there's all these people trying to figure out how to clean it up because we are not using plastic less. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's killing wildlife. And
the worst part is they're finding that plastic as well, like microplastics and parts of that plastic. Even I think it was I saw a whole container or something in the bottom, the deepest parts of the ocean, like the Marianas Trench. Is that what it's called?
I think so, yeah.
Marianas.
Sure.
Yeah.
James Cameron went there.
Yeah, he did.
Speaking of microplastics or microparticles, what if I told you that we consume an average of 5 grams of plastic particles per week?
Oh, I would totally believe it. Yeah. It's a huge problem they find it inside your cells.
That's right. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing this topic up is because, as we have recently discussed, I'm not the best at recycling.
Yeah, we've discussed this.
I think we know this, but I need to get better because 91% of plastics are not recycled. So there's a lot that's just hanging
out there. Now, is that because they're not recyclable or they're just not recycled?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also think it has to do with 91%. Think of how much plastic we use.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. Everything is plastic.
Well, and it's been exponentially growing year over year.
Right.
Another big problem too. I remember with the Team C's, the Mr. Beast, Mark Rober video launch of we're going to clean up the plastic from the beaches and stuff. And they spoiler alert, they did it. $30 million they raised to pull out 30 million pounds of trash out of the oceans and the beaches. That was cool. But I think in that video they talked about one of the biggest contributors is third world countries where they don't have a lot of access to quality trash or waste management.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the trash just goes into their backyards and it gets washed away to the streams and then eventually the ocean. And so not to say that America's not part of the problem, but I think in lower income places, there's just no way to get rid of your trash.
Yeah. Well, this is especially close to home for me because my father, his entire career, he worked in making plastisaws and urethanes and polymers. I actually worked in those plants in the summertime. And it's nasty stuff. I one time got sprayed in the chest with a big vat full of pre-plastic chemicals, and I was waterproofed for a week.
You were a superhero?
Yeah, the water beaded on me I was Scotch guarded.
You have a lame superhero origin story that takes
waterproof.
place in a chemical factory.
It only lasted a week, but I got hit with chemicals and I was waterproof for a week.
What was your superhero
That
name?
is not lame at all. It's amazing.
You're just slightly water resistant. Is your name Scott Guard?
That night I got in the shower and I was like, oh no. The water's like nothing. The water was not hitting me. It was this probably is not good.
That's amazing.
Now, eventually, I guess, like, my skin cells, like, regenerated and pushed all the chemicals off me. But I don't know what the long-term effects are going to have been of that. So
I'm just glad that we now know you can waterproof people.
Yep.
Anywho, but due to modern advancements in technology, what if I told you that the future of plastic is actually fungus?
Oh,
I like where you're going with
Have
this.
you heard this?
I've heard of algae plastics, but I've not heard of fungus ones.
Mycelium is basically the root system of the mushrooms that we eat. And the way mushrooms grow is the roots, there's like a network of roots that actually build first before the mushrooms start growing. So what they're doing is they're putting like agricultural waste in molds, like shaped in the shape of what they want plastic parts to look like, and then putting these mold spores in there. And then within a week, this root system will build and fill out and actually create a plastic.
Whatever shape.
Type substance.
Like vacuum forming, or
Yes.
like how they would do like cast iron or anything.
That's right. Yeah.
But with roots, that's super cool. And are those roots like just really strong, or what's the story?
It's a material that just so happens to have the same consistency, like in its most natural form. When it's concentrated in a mold, it's a lot like styrofoam.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Now, styrofoam is especially horrible.
So bad.
And it's starting to be outlawed in a lot of states, from what I understand.
Because you can't recycle it, right?
Can't
No, you
recycle
can't
it.
recycle it. It's just
And it does not break down. Like, it just sits out. And you can't burn it either, because it does nasty stuff to the environment.
It breaks down in a really frustrating way, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
it gets
yeah.
all over your house like freaking glitter.
Seriously, that's true. It like sticks to you with the static.
if you put it in gasoline, you can create napalm.
Says the guy who has a
Good to know.
very detailed plan about the end of the world.
I told you, I'm prepared for the
I know,
robots.
I know.
But I'll let them operate on me.
If they screw it up, I'm going to napalm them.
Listen, the humans had their chance.
So production is significantly consumes significantly less energy to produce
Sure.
this type of substance, right?
Passive, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And when you make it, you can get like 4 or 5 different forms of this stuff that they're using for different uses and purposes. So the first one is like a less rigid version that's like styrofoam. It has the same like thermal qualities to it, as far as like it doesn't transfer heat and all that other stuff. So it's good for like food packaging and things of that nature because it's organic. And it's even like that type of mycelium will decompose in soil in 45 days.
Wow.
So it will break down immediately. Now think about that, like going from styrofoam, which doesn't ever break down, to something that will break down in 45 days.
You just chuck it in your
super
backyard
cool.
and it'll be fine.
It's more rigid form. They're starting to use it because they can do things to it to make it more rigid, and it's more like leather. So they're like making gloves.
Like kind of plastic cleaning gloves or something?
No, like style, like fashion gloves.
Oh.
Adidas is actually using
Yeah, I heard of that.
fungus for like their flaps and some of their parts on their shoes.
Some celebrity, who was it? Somebody we saw wearing it in New York.
It was Stella McCartney. She's got a line that's
Yes.
using.
Oh yeah, it was
mycelium.
when
It
we
was
worked with
Jimmy
Fallon.
Fallon.
Yeah, when we worked with Fallon.
and
That's
he
who
said
it
it was Stella McCartney.
He said they're
right.
made out of mushrooms.
That's
No,
so
it's-
weird. So yeah, I mean, just name dropping over
Full
here.
circle.
We met Jimmy Fallon. We're about to shoot this video with him. You know, the Jimmy Fallon. He walks into the room and like we're just trying to be cool and try to make some small talk and not look like we're totally starstruck. And you know, I was like, hey, those are some cool shoes. Like he was wearing these really unique like sneakers with like wild like shoelaces on them, and like those are some cool shoes. And he's like, oh yeah, thanks. Stella McCartney designed these, for me.
Yeah.
They're made out of mushrooms, and we were all just kind of like, what are the words you just said?
That was it. It's mycelium.
Paul McCartney's daughter designed you shoes, and they're made out of food. Like I don't
Like, you just
you're
stood
Jimmy
there.
Fallon. My mind couldn't handle all the things that were happening, but that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But kudos to Jimmy Fallon for being like such a stand-up, cool, regular dude that all 3 of us forgot who that person was that wore fungus shoes
That's right.
more than we remembered the fungus shoes. Like it was just like another guy we worked with in New York. We were like, who was that? Oh, Jimmy Fallon, because he's just like super nice.
I think the title of this video is going to be From Fast Fashion to Fungus Fashion.
Ooh, yeah. That's good.
It won't be, but
It won't.
yeah.
Okay, so in the UK, they're actually producing mycelium to replace home insulation. And not only is it perfect for home insulation, it actually performs better than like leading insulation brands right now.
Very cool.
Fungus in your house.
Because that rigid foam insulation is becoming more and more popular because you can use it in a lot of different ways.
Now here's the question: you are fine with robot surgery.
100%.
Are you okay with mushroom insulation in your house?
I hate mushrooms. They're disgusting and they should not be consumed, in my personal opinion, because they're gross. I would definitely use them in my house. But here's the other thing too, speaking of food. The consistency of mycelium is it forms in layers very similar to muscular tissue and might be the way that they're going to make alternate meat sources. It would be like a meat, kind of like we're talking about cultured meat.
Like you could use that as like the housing for whatever meat, like if that's like the fiber,
right?
You still have to then put the meat protein onto the fiber.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yep. And last but not least, this one blows my mind. They're experimenting with its electric conductivity, and they are seeing if they can replace processors that are in Fitbits so that you could have reactive fungal bio wearables that are basically like smart devices. Mushroom smart fungus.
So what
stuff.
are they putting in the Fitbits with the fungus?
They're messing with changing out some of the processor parts.
Like they would conduct electricity.
Like maybe it's like replacing silicone or something like that?
I guess so.
Weird.
So here's the real question, which I will ask and then answer. Is the fungus still alive and still growing when you're wearing it or eating it or putting it in your house? And the answer is no, because they heat it until it dies. So it's not putting off spores or anything like that. So you're good to go.
How does it not break down in 45 days?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think it has to do with like humidity and temperature and some of those other things as well.
I mean, like your leather jacket doesn't just decompose, but if you buried it in the ground, I'm sure it would start to.
Maybe.
Yeah, it did say that it would start decomposing in soil in 45.
Yeah.
45.
Because there's critters, bacteria, all the things that do the decomposition.
That's right.
I mean, even if they're able to just use this stuff as like a hybrid with other materials, or even if they were using a little bit less plastic than before, that'd be great.
It's so cool.
Just think about, though, I mean, the cleaning up the plastic, the Texas-sized island of plastic in the ocean is great, but we're still using plastic so often. Like, we're just going to be putting that plastic right back in the island. So to come up with an alternative source that breaks down is a good route to take for the future of plastic.
So you're saying instead of a plastic island, we need a fungal jungle.
Yeah, fungal
That's
jungle.
what we need.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yes.
Okay.
There's the question, the time and the space that it takes to create this, is that better than making plastic?
It is significantly better. And it goes faster. I mean, they can make this stuff like very quickly. And, you know, they're actually experimenting with seeing if they can concentrate how they're making it in different conditions so that they could potentially use it for building materials. And like support beams, they actually made a 45-foot tower, I think, in England where they're trying to figure out if they can, it's currently, it doesn't hold up under the same PSI that like concrete, and, you know, rebar metal does, but they're working on it, which is good.
Even if it doesn't replace everything ever, like think about like the plastic tubs you have in your house. Like those don't need to support like 1 billion pounds. You could replace those, and that's taking some of the plastic out of the world.
Yeah, straws, cups.
Yeah,
I have a hope that one day we will be recording the Timely podcast on microphone cables that have fungus and earbuds. We'll have earbuds in our ears that are fungus, and that you listening to this podcast are doing so on phones and computers that are made of fungus.
There we go. There's fungus among us.
Okay, there it is. I was going to see how long can we get through this segment without saying fungus?
Yeah.
Or how about this? Then you can listen to 3 fun guys while you're listening to us on your fun guys.
There it is.
Okay.
Yep. I still like fungal jungle better.
It's better. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us on this episode of Timely because it's super fun for us to do. And this literally is like hanging out with us on a daily basis.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, he's right.
So we have fun. We hope you had fun, and we'll see you next time.